Master your money, free your future. Welcome to Budget for Life. My name is Jeremy. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm a financial advisor, but this video is not financial advice. In this video, we are going to cover a potential employee leak, right? It could be false. It's anonymized from the internet, but from the GameStop employee subreddit, we have some juicy details. Potentially, we want to talk in this video about the implications on GameStop as a company, as well as implications for GameStop's acquisition targets. Before I get into it, thank you to those who have joined the channel as fans and friends. I appreciate it a bunch. Um, yeah, joining the channel. Not an obligation, but appreciated. Likes, comments, all of the above, the engagement, the shares, not expected, always appreciated. 100% of the earnings of this channel do go to DRS booked GME shares. And on that note, also just want to say sorry for the delay. It's been a few days since I've made a video. I have been traveling again. So I'm not in my home office, not in my home state. So that is the reason for the delay, in case anyone was wondering. So let's get into it. Okay. 4 bullet points here, and I'll try to get out of the way as we get to the bottom of them. But the first one is pro member hours. So potentially pros can come in early or stay later as far as shopping at GameStop, beyond what the normal person can do. This is similar to what Costco does. So, I've talked in past videos about ways that GameStop is reviving its brand. And one of those, one of the keys for how GameStop is improving its brand is improving the pro experience, right? So delivering real value to pros was like point number one on this video I made. So this is just another way to do that doesn't cost GameStop really extra money. Also, the latest hours and the earliest hours of a company, like of a business being open, are usually probably the hours that they get the least foot traffic anyways. So if you can create a premium experience and simultaneously get more of your shoppers to come on the fringes of your store hours, that's a win-win for the store and for the pro member. It also just, again, gets more people in the store, period. So getting more people in the store through a perceived perk of additional, exclusive hours. Again, win-win for the company and for the customer. Point number two on this employee leak is changing marketing kits. This is very like, this to me makes me, this point number two, if you wanted to read it all, makes me think that this is like a legit leak. It's a very specific thing to just make up in terms of the way it's discussed. So instead of whatever, Sunday being the next release of promos, whatever, and waiting 4 Sundays or 5 Sundays until the next one, this change is let's do our promos on the first and have it go for the month and end on the month for some cleaner tracking as far as return on their investment related to different marketing campaigns, etc. So this is a very strange leak. if if it's not real, I'd give this like a 70% chance of being a legitimate employee leak, based on this comment in particular, as well as comment number four. I'll jump to number four and then go back to number three. Um, but number two, like there's no real implications, like in the small margins of GameStop's operations. Perhaps they squeeze out a little bit more sales or a little bit more margin through more efficient marketing tracking, right? But this is probably an operations efficiency that could move the needle very slightly. Probably not a game changer for GameStop, the retail business, etc. Number four, I will I'll read it this way, even though you probably can't see it on your screen very well. New type of store design known as Top 50 to replace the store of the future. So I'm not that familiar with what is GameStop's store of the future. Let's see if we can find out. GameStop store of the future. Yeah, AI is wrong. Okay, 6 years ago. Is that it? It looks the same to me. Let's see. Oh, I can't even look at it. Well, whatever. Oh, the video the video is not available anymore. Okay, great. It looked like some updated shelving. That's about it. A TV in there. Maybe there's like a little desk back there to play video games. So they had done a couple of these uh way back when. This is 2010, right? GameStop store of the future is anything but. So they did a couple pilot stores to turn the store into some type of gaming experience, as well as just a cleaner store footprint. And obviously that idea did not generate tons of revenue. Those stores are not uniquely more profitable than any other stores. And so they are essentially tabling or replacing the store of the future concept where gaming and table space to play card games within the store, investing in the store as far as how do we uh like shelf product, how do we display stuff? Because everyone knows GameStop stores could use a facelift, right? So they did a facelift. They added a couple things that gamers like, and overall they're saying that was not worth it. So that's why they have not done that more. But what is interesting here is well, let me read the rest of this. The top 50 would sell the top 50 new games for each console. They will still sell pre-owned, but new will become very limited. Each wall will have a small dedicated area for each section's top 50. And the employee or the, supposed employee said, I do not know how this would work with pre-orders for smaller titles, how they get their list, etc. So instead of a store of the future, premium store, premium feel, experience, drawing in customers, basically under new leadership, under Cohen's leadership, GameStop is saying, how about instead of a premium store, we make an even more efficient store? Let's sell even fewer things, right? Let's have an even smaller footprint potentially, right? Let's make this the grab and go section, the convenience store, the gas station groceries, rather than going into the grocery store. Like GameStop top 50 sounds like find what you want faster, don't get distracted by the rest of the stuff, higher foot traffic, higher uh, revenue per customer potentially, but maybe less margin per customer, focusing on new stuff, get the pre-owned stuff out of the way, get the Funkos out of the way, like all the stuff that makes a GameStop store feel a little bit tacky. Let's get it out of the way. Let's just sell the best products in gaming right now. That's all you can buy here. You can't buy any of the other stuff here, the collectibles, right? The fringe titles, etc. And you get a potentially smaller footprint, but potentially a store that feels more premium because it doesn't do as much. And it also increases the speed of sale potentially, where a customer says, I'm not thumbing through all these boxes to try to find the one, what's 70% off, and this customer is taking an hour shopping and it just creates an awkward vibe for everyone. It's like boom, games, which game do you want? Got it. Sweet. Everything is full price. They might still do promos every now and then, but it's almost like it's a full price gaming store experience rather than traditional GameStop stores, which are very much a buy, sell, and trade store experience. And that is in the near term, again, not needle moving for GameStop as far as sales margins, etc. But more exciting to me than number two, the changing marketing kits. I think that will take a long time to squeeze out a little bit more margin potentially. The new store design, it's not just, hey, that makes sense as a fit for how to improve the GameStop store experience, which over time could lead to, again, a little bit more revenue per customer, right? A higher foot traffic type store locations, all that stuff I just said. It also implies that GameStop is interested in expanding and or at the very least retrofitting and investing in their stores, which they have not done under Cohen's tenure, right? All they have done is cut stores, right, from almost 6,000 stores when Cohen started and just slashing stores now to where they're probably under 2,000. We will see how many they cut in January and in Q4 when they report in March. They might be closer to 1,500 already. And so that is substantial to see this clue that, hey, we are cutting, 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 cutting. And not only have we, and at the same time, they have not improved any of the stores that they've kept. They have not invested in them. They haven't changed the carpet. They haven't changed the layout. If anything, they've become a little bit messier, like cardboard boxes stacked up in random corners of the actual store. As you know, apparently maybe the warehouse in the back is full of stuff, right? As they're consolidating, consolidating, consolidating their footprint. So exciting to see that investment in the stores and potentially expansion of stores is on the horizon now that GameStop has cut costs, become a cash cow of a retailer. That's not the end of the story for GameStop. Some people have said that Cohen doesn't even want any stores, right? He's just going to keep, selling them all until there's zero left, and that's the end of it. But actually, there is probably a vision for um, investing in and growing GameStop the retailer, not just cost cutting forever into perpetuity. Number three, the juicy one. The company is going to be partnering with another company soon. The CEO has to make an announcement before anyone can say the details. Only leak was this partnership may have some stores moving their locations, aka moving to their locations. So, again, is this a legitimate leak? I think 75% chance it is. Some people have read into the language of, well, partnership is different than a merger, right? So maybe GameStop's not going to acquire something. Maybe GameStop's just going to partner with someone. For example, Kohl's and Best Buy have both leased out portions of their store to other retailers to come set up their own retail setups within the stores that Best Buy and Kohl's own. So some people thought, oh, it's a partnership. So maybe that means it's Best Buy or Kohl's. I think more likely this employee is not like a finance bro. And the difference in their mind between a partnership and an acquisition is non existent, in my opinion. I wouldn't read into the partnering word as if acquisition is no longer the primary next step that Cohen's working on, that he's going to make an announcement for soon, because Cohen made these interviews and made it clear that they are going to acquire a consumer company and that he's going to do it. Right? An announcement's coming soon is what he told Charles Payne, and why he just canceled his interview with Charles Payne. So what do we learn from this? One, it's coming soon, which is super exciting, right? How soon is soon, we'll see. But I've thought, after reading these articles, I thought the latest I could see it being is June. If this leak is legit, it sounds like almost like the latest I could see it being is April, right? Like, it's, to me, it shortens the time frame, and it could be shorter than that. It could be this month or March that we see an acquisition announced. as far as who would GameStop be acquiring, right? I have been consistent. I think the most likely target is Target. I think the next most likely target is Macy's. I then give Kohl's a decent chance, although it's more of a bargain barrel value bin type of company. And then slight nod to Best Buy. These were some other honorable mentions. In my opinion, if the and then so anyways, other people have thought, well, like what about eBay, right? And I've talked several times about why I don't think it's eBay. To me, this is further confirmation that it is not GameStop is actually going to buy a brick and mortar store, right? It's not going to be, you can't move your video game stores inside an eBay, okay? You can't move your video game stores inside a software developer. You can't move your video game stores inside a bank, right? Like they're going to buy a large consumer company just like he said they would do, right? So to me, this leak is super exciting because to me it feels like we're barking up the correct tree. It also to me says these other honorable mentions become like a 0%. They're not going to put video games inside of a Bath and Body Works, inside of an Advance Auto, inside of a Petco, inside of a movie theater. They like although like they're not going to put a store inside a place that no one would suspect a GameStop store to be. So I would almost make these like 0% officially. I would also hypothetically increase Best Buy to like a solid 1% chance. Like this becomes one, all these become zero, but still kind of worth an honorable mention. Best Buy is an electronics store. So certainly if GameStop did want to buy Best Buy, someone could go into a Best Buy looking for what they want to get and then say, oh, cool, it's the GameStop section of Best Buy. Here's where we carry our games. I still do not think this is likely, personally, for several reasons. I've talked about them before, but the biggest is the valuation is not really that deep of an undervalued company. The other is there's a lot of cannibalization here. Like there is, I don't know how much GameStop gains by buying Best Buy. I don't know how much Best Buy gains by merging with GameStop. There's so much overlap with their products, their customers, that to me, like it is worth a 1%, but like the stuff that GameStop sells, Best Buy also sells, which I guess is the point. So maybe I shouldn't be dogging it so much. Maybe there's no new reason why. I do think in some ways Kohl's becomes less likely because no one would really think I'm going to go to Kohl's and I'm going to check out their GameStop section. It's still possible. Like, I still think we're barking up the right tree. I think these are the four names that make the most sense: Target, Macy's, Kohl's, Best Buy. The thing is, Target is it's so ideal because they have an electronics section, but Target's not an electronics company, right? So Best Buy, there's so much overlap that there's cannibalization. Target, if by acquiring GameStop, GameStop cannibalizes some of Target's electronics, that's okay because Target's electronics is just a portion of Target's revenue. It's just a small part of it. It's not even their premier part of it. And actually, by adding the GameStop brand, it maybe actually becomes a more meaningful part of Target to say, oh, wow, they're a real player in the gaming space now. Whereas Best Buy, they already have that clout. They are the number one electronics store, period. But Target, it's a small sliver, but people know it's there, right? People know Target does sell some electronic stuff. The thing with Macy's and Kohl's is no one knows that video games would be there. So it would be bold for GameStop to buy Kohl's and then say, we're going to put some GameStops inside of Kohl's it's like, well, how long is it going to take for people to catch on that you can go get your GameStop games at Kohl's? People don't have to catch on if it's Target because they would already know, like people would go to Target to buy games and then look up at the sign and be like, oh, wow, who knew? It's a GameStop now. They wouldn't go looking for a GameStop on their phone and be like, oh, the nearest GameStop is inside of this Target store. Let me go see if I can find it there. That will be the minority of customers. The majority of customers will be Target customers that become converted into GameStop customers. And by the way, how many more pro memberships are they going to be able to sell when they're selling to Target customers, right? There's so many more customers of Target than there are of GameStop. There's so many more casual gamers, electronics purchasers that become exposed to the great value proposition that is the GameStop Pro membership just by having the sign there. Also, all GameStop has to do is put a sign up. The layout, the footprint is already there for those products. It's just like, hey, take these CDs off, put your games here, done. Put a sign right there in the store, GameStop, done. Macy's and Kohl's, there is no electronic section carved out in the store yet. So hypothetically, there would be more work to create that store within a store experience compared to a Target. That said, Kohl's does have Sephora's inside of Kohl's. Macy's owns Toys R Us, and they have in some of their stores just cleared out a chunk of their store and said, here's Toys R Us. And it's like some toys for sale in this corner of the second floor. It doesn't feel like a different store experience. It feels a little bit random, but I do think Macy's is still very much in play. Kohl's is still very much in play because they are doing these kind of store within a store, mall, within a store is kind of the vision that they've been working towards to turn around and save their brands, their foot traffic, etc. So GameStop becoming a part of the suite of stores that happen within one of these stores, I think is super viable still. But Target to me just feels like the perfect fit based on this leak. And I think this leak, again, decent chance that it is legitimate. All that to say, if it's any one of these four names, it's very validating because before this leak ever came out, right, this was already what I was thinking based on what Cohen has already said. And I think to me, it puts to rest a lot of the more speculative names that didn't really line up with what Cohen was saying. And it makes me feel like, again, we are on the right track as far as what type of company is GameStop looking for. Let me know what you think in the comments if you see it similarly or differently. That's all I got for you today. I'll see you in the next one.